Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Summer's winding down. Maybe you're like me and you've been enjoying lots of grilling of things like sausages and hot dogs, burgers. And so it's a great time for me to go back through my pantry and check over my stash, my stockpile of what I still have of pickles and mustard. And the reason I'm choosing pickles and mustard is because they're vinegar based. They will last a lot longer than other types of condiments in your prepper pantry. Once you open things like pickles and mustards, they need to be stored in the refrigerator, and of course then you've started the countdown on you really need to use those foods up. When you're looking into your pantry and you're wondering if your pickles are still good, look over, first of all, find the date. They should last a few years after the date because the vinegar is naturally preserving the foods. So you want to look over the jar, make sure the date is within a reasonable amount of time, and then look through the glass at the brine. Make sure nothing looks cloudy. If you see any mold, anything that looks off or suspicious, pitch it immediately. Then you want to check on the lid and make sure that there's no play in the lid, that it hasn't lost its pressure, and that it is still airtight. Then it's safe to be stored still in your pantry, cool, dark, and dry until you need it. But don't forget your pickles. You still need to use, rotate, and replace them if it's a food that you consider that you enjoy. If you find that you're ending up with too many pickles to use up within a reasonable amount of time, maybe don't replace so many of them. Use some up and then wait to get some more replacements so that you don't have, say, 10 jars that are 10 years expired. That's not going to probably still be safe to eat. And we don't want to waste our storage space or our food dollars on foods that we're not ready to use, or we don't want to have too many that we can't use them up in a reasonable amount of time. Now, I recently opened this jar of pickles, so it goes into the refrigerator. You can see there's play on the lid because I already opened it. And when I opened it, it still smells delicious. You can see nothing looks unusual in the brine, and the pickles still have a nice crunchy consistency. So this can last in the refrigerator for several months. I also like to look at the lid and make sure nothing is off on the lid when I'm opening foods, because sometimes that's a telltale sign that we didn't notice. So now that it's been opened, I can put the lid back on tightly and store it in the refrigerator, but use it up within a few months. It's not going to last forever. Then it's always nice to have a variety of pickle type things. How about some dill pickle relish? I usually prefer sweet pickle relish, but I also have some dill. I need to replenish my supply of sweet pickle relish because I just opened the last jar. So I also have some pickled jalapeno peppers, and those are going to be the same type of guidelines, that you still need to use them within a few years of the date on them. And just like other foods, make sure that you check that that lid is tight fitting. Look over the jar, make sure nothing looks suspicious at all. Let us know in the comments below, do you enjoy pickled jalapenos? How do you use them? And what's the favorite way that you serve them? Then let's look at mustard. Sometimes we have just the plain yellow mustard, or maybe we have some varieties. Mustard can usually last up to 2 years past the date on them, but you still need to keep your eye on it. Don't get too many varieties or too big a stockpile that you can't rotate in a reasonable amount of time. And then also you also want to then start looking at the mustard. Make sure that the color is consistent, nothing looks off, that it hasn't become too runny and separated. They always separate a little bit, so you shake them up before you use them. You don't want it to be unusually separated. You don't want anything to look off. They should look normal consistency. The color should be pretty much consistent, and the consistency should also appear mustard-like. Condiments like mustard usually have a seal underneath, so you want to make sure that those seals, you can see this hasn't been opened, it's still airtight, so the seal underneath has not been broken. Same with this one. Just like pickles, don't buy so many types of mustards or so many jars that you can't rotate it in a reasonable amount of time. Once you start using mustard and pickles, they need to go into the refrigerator. Then you want to use those up. If you have extras in your stockpile, then you want to rotate those as you use the ones in your refrigerator and replace them. But remember, don't buy so many that you can't use them up within, say, 2 years of the expiration date. So that's my best understanding of how long do pickles and mustards last, how you should store them, how to rotate them, so that you'll have that spicy flavor when you want it. I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.